A lot of people think that success is the outcome, but in reality, it's the person that you become in the process. So in this video, I'm gonna dive into my exact routine as a profitable day trader so that if you just copy and paste this routine for the next 60 days, you will become the person that allows you to be a profitable trader. So let's get into this. So my first step, and probably the most important part of my routine as a profitable day trader, is that when I wake up, I start with first praying, meditating, and reading my Bible. And for me personally, it just puts me in the mind frame of just realizing the things that are actually important. Of course, being a day trader is great, making money is great, but it is not the ultimate purpose in life. So starting my day off like that just helps me put into perspective and remain in the perspective of what actually matters. Once I finish that, especially as a new trader, and if you guys are not where you want to be, or if you're just starting off as trading, I highly suggest you first just spend around 2 to 3 hours every single day consuming trading content. This could be YouTube videos, this could be watching course content, this could be watching coaching or listening to coaches that are trying to get you where you need to get inside of trading. Just spend at least 2 hours every single day consuming content from people who are where you want to be, or people that are giving you knowledge more than what you have in this specific area. Now, the reason that is so important is because obviously you don't know everything. We don't know everything. As traders, we're never perfect, so we always have to continue learning. Even me to this day, and I'm able to make 5-6 figures every single month day trading, I'm still watching and consuming content on trading just so I can continue to learn more and continue to grow. Now, the next step in how I personally go about in my trading, and I feel like a lot of people don't do this, and I feel like it can mess them up, is that around 30 minutes before I usually start trading, I like to back test. And the reason I do that and how I think of it in my mind is, imagine a basketball player and they have a huge game coming up, right? But they don't practice at all before the game goes. They're going to be cold, or even like if you watch the NBA and you see them shooting shots before the game actually starts, this is just warming you up, getting your body used to it, getting your mind used to it. And this is the same way I think about back testing before our trading actually starts. Because obviously we can maybe forget certain parts of our strategy or not have the eye to it instantly as soon as we hop onto the charts. You're kind of coming off on it cold. So I do suggest back testing for about 15 to 30 minutes before you actually start trading. If you start trading at 7 a.m., go in there at around 6:30 and just start back testing. Just go over your strategy. Make sure you are completely locked in so that you can see the support and resistance zones. You can see the trend lines easily because you have been putting in that back testing beforehand, so your mind is kind of warmed up to it already. After I'm doing the back testing, depending on how long I back test, I usually get into marking up my charts. Now keep in mind, I like to personally mark up my charts every single day. I'll keep charts open in like different zones and areas of interest that I have from the day before or a couple days before. But I like to look over my charts and kind of re-mark up my zones, my support or resistances, my trend lines, things like that. The reason is because I want to be refreshed of why I have these zones here. If I have a box on NASDAQ at the 20,000 level, I want to know why I drew a resistance box at the 20,000 level, just so I can be aware of it and understand kind of what I'm looking for as the day goes on and what I can expect when price goes into the trend lines, when price goes into the support and resistance zones, when price goes into any of my areas of interest. Now, the next thing I will do is I like to set game plans for my trades. You guys all know you're supposed to have a trading plan, an overall trading plan. But you also need to have a specific trading plan for each trade. And what I mean by that is, let's say you're in a buy right here and you have multiple take profit levels. Let's say you have one up here, one up here, and one up here. I like to have specific game plans where it's like, okay, if price gets to my TP1, what am I going to do? If price gets to my TP2, what am I going to do? And this could be, I'm not going to do anything. Or this could be, I'm going to watch it, see if it starts reversing. If it starts reversing, I'll move my stop loss to break even. Or if it hits TP1, I'll take some profits. Just have a game plan for every single scenario of a trade that you are looking for. This happens a little bit closer to when you're getting your entries, but you need to create actual trade plans for each individual trade so you're not allowing yourself to make impulsive decisions as a trade is happening. That's extremely important because it stops you from making any impulsive decisions, because you know, according to your trade plan, if price does not do this, you cannot do anything. Regardless of what happens, you cannot make emotional and impulsive decisions during your trade, because in reality, you never become smarter once you enter a trade. So it's best to have the trade in all of the different angles and different points and levels planned out before you get into the trade and you start getting in that emotional state. Because us as traders, being too emotional or being impulsive are one of the main reasons why we continue to give money back to the markets and continue to lose money or even miss out on more money. Obviously, the step after this and how I go about my day is I actually get into the trades. So this is me following my exact trading plan, my exact trading rules, making sure I'm not deviating from them at all, waiting for all of my confirmations, all of my entry criteria to align, and then I'm entering the trade. And me personally, I don't like to sit there and watch my charts. I like to either occupy myself with something else, work on my other businesses, have meetings at this time, or go outside, really just do anything so I'm not sitting there looking at the charts. Because as I said in my previous point, when you are in a trade, you don't really get smarter. You end up making impulsive decisions and becoming too emotional. And me sitting there looking at the charts, especially seeing my P&L go up 4,000, down 2,000, up to 10,000, back down to 4,000. Seeing that can be very emotionally taxing, but obviously I've been doing this for 7 years, so it's not as bad as it was in the beginning. But you as a new trader, and even me to this day, it doesn't help us to sit there and watch my charts. Personally, I've never seen a real benefit to a person sitting there and watching the chart. Now, I'm not just saying to open up a trade and just randomly leave. That's why the point that I talked about before is so important. Have a trading plan. Know when you are going to take action. That way you can't take action when you're not supposed to take action. Now, an important part after you take the trade, win or lose, is you have to journal your trades. I've said this countless times. I've told people that this is literally one of the most important things that's allowed me to become a profitable trader. It's really when I started being serious about trading journaling and making sure that I'm tracking every single trade I took. How I personally like to track it, I'm tracking obviously the pair I took, what time I took it, if it was a buy, sell, win, loss, whatever it is, the risk to reward ratio I had, a screenshot of the trade. But one of the most important parts I like to include in it is writing down exactly why I think I won or exactly why I think I lost the trade. Now this could be, it doesn't have to be a whole paragraph. It could be, I lost it because I entered too early and didn't wait for my confirmation I was supposed to. It could be, I won it because everything aligned and there was all these confluences or whatever. And the reason why this is so important is because when you're journaling your trades and you're able to look back on it, you start seeing patterns in your losses. You start seeing patterns in your wins. For example, if 60% of the time you lose trades, it's because you enter too early. If you stop entering too early, you can save yourself 60% of the losses that you've taken. Same thing vice versa with winning. If you track the patterns that you see on your winning trades, now you know, okay, if all this aligns, according to the previous data for my trading journaling, this has a high chance of winning. So I can feel more confident in this because I've seen this happen multiple times. Now, there are a bunch of different trading journals that you can actually use. They have automated ones. You can journal it yourself. I first started off just journaling myself and writing it down on a piece of paper. Then I went to a spreadsheet. Now there are automatic trading journals. I'll give you guys the link for the one that I personally use inside the description down below. But it will basically track everything that I mentioned before. The only thing you'll need to manually put in the note on why you feel like you won or why you feel like you lost the trade. And like I said, that's one of the most important parts. Now, the next thing that I personally do as a profitable trader, and sometimes I'll do this before I start trading, before I do the back testing, is I like to go over my previously journaled trades. And the reason why that's so important is because it makes you realize and see your faults that you were having before on your losing trades and the different patterns that you saw on your winning trades. That way it's fresh in your mind and you know not to make the same mistakes that you were seeing on your losing trades and to double down on the different patterns and the different things that you saw on your winning trades. So definitely do not just journal your trades. You have to look back over it. And you can start off by looking back over it just once a week. That's way better than not looking at it at all. But I do suggest doing it either before you start back testing it or right after you enter your trade and close your trade out and things like that. But make sure you are looking back on your trading journal. Now, looking back on your trading journal, you have to actually criticize and critique your risk management. How good did you do with your risk management, not just on the trade you just took, but on the previous trades of the entire week, your risk management as well as your psychology. You want to be aware of how you were feeling emotionally when you were entering into these trades. Were you hesitant to hop into it? Did you FOMO into the trade? Did you end up revenge trading and getting in when you weren't supposed to? Did you end up doing any moving of the stop loss, anything that could potentially set you back over a long period of time? You want to critique that and make sure that you point it out so you don't do it the next day. So when you're looking over your trading journal the day before or the day after, you can see clearly exactly the things you should not be doing. Like I said, it could be anything from over leveraging, entering too early, FOMOing to trades, moving your stop loss. Like I said, anything that could potentially over a long period of time set you back. And the reason I'm saying over a long period of time, and I think this is very dangerous for some people, is because sometimes breaking your rules actually benefits you. Sometimes moving your stop loss gave it a little more breathing room for it to go up and hit your take profit. But over a long period of time, that's going to mess you up. You're going to end up losing money. That's not a winning strategy. That's not a winning trade of a profitable trader. So you don't want to continue in those habits, regardless if it worked out this time. Make sure you're being strict with the different rules and the different things that you see in your trading journal and in your trading plan. Now, after my trading day is done for the most part, and I've went over my trading journal, I've done all these things, this is when I really like to set time apart, an hour or 2 hours, just to backtest my strategy. You can only get better with your strategy, better at spotting it, better at seeing the A+ setups or versions of your strategy versus the C+ setups of your strategy, seeing how you can improve on your strategy, whether it's holding your trades longer, whether it's cutting your losses sooner, just things like that. I put in around an hour to 2 hours to backtest my strategy in different market conditions. That could be going back freaking 3 years ago and seeing if that strategy was working in that market condition. If it wasn't working, what could I tweak in my strategy? Not change the strategy overall, but what could I tweak, make small changes in my strategy to allow this market condition to still be profitable? So make sure you're putting consistent time into backtest, to perfect your strategy, to learn your strategy, to understand your strategy even more. Now, a great website to use to backtest is a website I use all the time to backtest. It's called FX Replay. You can use TradingView to backtest, but the data only goes so far back. With FX Replay, it's literally made for backtesting. I'm not sponsored by them or anything. It's just what I use all the time to backtest. I actually made a video about backtesting as well on my channel. FX Replay is great. It lets you go way far back so you can backtest a long time ago, and it lets you track your backtesting results, which is absolutely amazing. Now, once I am done backtesting, I like to kind of close out my trading day going over my areas of interest. What do I think price will do the following day? What do I want price to do the following day? What would I look for price to do the following day? I just like to set the tone for the next day, kind of help myself out the day before to make sure my zones are fresh, make sure I have the right mindset, the right mind frame, and a good game plan for the day moving forward. Now, if you want to be able to not just copy my routine, but also copy the same exact strategies that I use every single day to generate multiple 4, even 5 figures every single day day trading, I will leave a link to get my exact strategies and systems in the description down below. These have been back tested as far back as FX Replay would let me. If that's something that interests you, like I said, click the link inside the description down below. Hopefully you guys got value out of this. If you did get value out of this, and if you're trying to take trading serious and finally become a full-time day trader, but you don't know where to start, I created an entire free course that you can watch right here. It'll break down and teach you everything that I know about trading. It'll help you if you're a complete beginner and teach you all the platforms, teach you all the terminology, teach you how to read charts, literally everything right here on YouTube. I'll see you there.